Welcome to A Sandwich and Some Lovin' podcast. I'm Kelly Raspberry Evans. This is my husband and co-host, Alan Evans.
Hello, I'm Alan. Hey, Train in the house.
Thank y'all for being here with us for this podcast. I think if we had recorded this podcast about 24 hours ago, you would have had a very different podcast. Two very sad hosts, crying, snotting, mourning,
Ugly crying,
worrying,
pacing.
It was a very difficult past 24 or so hours, but we're through it now.
I found myself just walking in the backyard, pacing around with hands on hip, looking at the sky. I did that a few times.
It was bad. And let me just give you a little tease. Now that we can sort of kind of breathe, I almost killed our dog. And I take full responsibility for it. And we'll get to how I almost killed the dog in a minute. But I think this story will hopefully serve as a public service announcement for pet owners who aren't aware that there are dangers in your home and that are perfectly fine for humans, but they could kill your dog if you don't keep an eye on them and just watch them like hawks. It was really a bad scene, but we're through it. And we'll get to all that in just a minute.
But we'll get into that.
Yeah, and I understand you said you had some letters and things, too. You told me earlier this evening.
Yeah, we have a few letters.
Okay.
We haven't done listener mail in a while. So, we actually have quite a few letters.
Yeah, so we've got a lot to get to. And honestly, we could do the entire podcast about how sorry I am.
But how sorry you are.
About sorry, like sorry like a dog, and I'm so sorry because it was just really a rough day. And I feel like we should just dive into it because of Zoey and the situation. Should we start with that?
Yeah, we can start with that. We just brought her home from the emergency room an hour ago.
Yeah, so we've just been like,
and fortunately there's a happy ending. Everything is fine. She's just fine.
But of course, when something scary is happening, what do? We go on the internet and we read worst case scenarios up and down. So let's just dive in. So we have two dogs, two rescues. Larry, who is our little, he's a problem dog for certain reasons. He's not very sociable. We've been working on that. He's getting better. He has terrible allergies. His joints are all kinked out. You should see him walk. It's the funniest thing. His hind leg keeps popping out of socket, but it'll pop right in. And the vet says that's normal.
Yeah, for small dogs that are poodle mixes, He said that's normal.
He's always, you should see him walk. It's the funniest thing, but he's fine from what we're told. But horrible allergies and just growls and just an overall pain in the butt. That's our Larry. Zoey, and he's a mutt. He's a mix of everything. Zoey, on the other hand, we've only had for a couple months, and she is a mini schnauzer. And I never thought I'd have a mini schnauzer. Did you ever think you'd have a mini schnauzer?
No, and in fact, we were just talking about this the other day. Before we got Zoey, we were thinking about getting a dog, and I think on one of the podcasts, we did the top 10 most popular breeds in America, and I think at number 8 or 9 was miniature schnauzer.
And we were just like, meh.
Well, and at the time, I had no idea we were going to end up with a miniature schnauzer.
We didn't.
I think my comment was, aren't they supposed to be kind of prickish?
Possibly.
Because I had an aunt who had a miniature schnauzer when I was a kid. I remember that dog being kind of prickish. And as a little kid, that probably came across as just real rambunctious and always into stuff and playful. Yeah.
My nanny Laura had a mini schnauzer. May he rest in peace. He recently passed away. But when she was, with me, helping me with Emma Kelly, she got Tucker. And Tucker was a solid white mini schnauzer. And he was just the sweetest thing. I mean, he was a really great dog and a good companion. Loved, Laura had a baby, loved that baby, and was here to see that transition. So it was a beautiful thing. But we got Zoey. And, at first, it took a minute to warm. I was asking Alan yesterday, I was like, did you love her the minute she walked in our lives? No, you have to build that love. And to be quite honest.
No, she was having a seizure the first minute she was in my life.
The minute she came in with the foster mom, we went in the backyard just to kind of see her walk around. The minute we put her in the backyard, she suffered a huge seizure. And Alan and I are looking at each other like, are you going to tell her we don't want her? But we were, the lady talked us off the ledge and, said, She had never had one like that before. We don't know what's happening. Apparently, she had just had gotten spayed.
Right.
She's a female. And sometimes there is a reaction to the anesthesia where they have the seizure. So they said, keep an eye on her. But she said if she does have epileptic seizures, it's a relatively inexpensive medication, which she said like $15 a month.
Something like that. Yeah.
And we're still sitting there like, we're going to adopt an epileptic dog? You know, it's just like all these things. Are we horrible people if we don't want to? It's just all this stuff. But we got very lucky that Zoey is just a healthy dog. And she's still a puppy. She's not even a year old yet, but she's been a lot of fun. Allen has been the one who is just, that's his eyeballs. He loves Zoey. And I love Zoey too, but it's sort of like, you know, that's just Allen's passion. He works with her, takes her out, walks, trains her, just that's his baby, and I totally get it. Well, Allen has been on me about not keeping a close enough eye on her. I've always had dogs. I told him I grew up in South Carolina. We just had dogs running around all the time. We never took them to the vet. I don't know if you grew up in the South like I did, and I'm getting up there. I'm in my 50s. The only time we ever took our dogs to the vet was when they got hit by cars. That's it. You didn't take them to the vet for anything else, or to put them down when they got distemper. That would happen.
I don't remember all the medications that you give dogs now.
And brushing their teeth? Who did that?
Remember the Hart's flea collar? You'd throw the white Hart's flea collar on.
Right.
But all the, now you do heartworm every month. You do flea and tick prevention
and brush
every
their
month.
Teeth.
You brush their teeth, which is great. I mean, people are taking good care of their pets, I think, now versus back in the day. But I don't remember the dog being any less healthy back in the day. Do you?
No. Our dogs were fine until they got hit by cars.
Yeah.
Because they were running around. So anyway, I'm like, yeah, whatever, Allen. So Zoey has also gotten into she figured out how to jump onto our kitchen counters. So the other day I'm in the office and I hear a clang, 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 clang. And I go out in the office and she is standing on the counter licking the spoon rest next to the stove. I'm like, get down. What happened? So we have a chair that backs up to the kitchen counter. She can hop on the chair, hop up on the counter, and then whatever's on the counter is hers to take because she's a puppy and she just wants everything. So I'm like, oh, dang it. So I got to keep a better eye on her. It happened. We had a barbecue. We caught her trying to sneak up on the counter to eat the barbecue off the counter. Okay, so we learned our lessons about meat and things like that.
Which, by the way, as a side note, Kelly put all that barbecue after Zoey licked all over it.
She put
that in the Tupperware, puts it in the fridge.
There's a lot of meat.
And then I eat it the next day.
Because I said, you kiss her in the mouth. What's the difference if she ate a little bit of barbecue? So anyway, again, I'm from South Carolina. So I'm making a very long story longer. I'm giving you I'm painting the picture is what they call it, babe.
Yes, you're painting it with that little tiny detail brush.
Painting the picture.
Good gosh, that brush has one, what do you call it? One thread on it.
Right.
What's it called?
Hair? Bristle?
Bristle. It's got one bristle on it.
Let me keep bristling here. All right, so my daughter, I'm all circling back to how I almost killed the dog. So my daughter is 13 and she has a very limited list of things she will eat. I'm like, just tell me what you will eat and I will buy it because I'm so tired of making stuff and she just doesn't eat. She said she wanted fruit. I said, well, give me a list of the fruit you want. She wanted cherries, grapes, watermelon, blah, blah, blah. So I went to the store and brought home some grapes and I washed them and I put them in a colander. We have a big farm sink that I hate, by the way.
Why?
I can't stand it. Chip and Joanna Gaines.
What's wrong with
doing
that farm
all these
sink?
houses with farm sinks, and everybody wants a farm sink. There's no divider there.
That sink's beautiful.
I don't care how pretty it is. It's not practical. It's not practical.
What do you want to throw in there?
I want to be able to wash dishes and wash on one side and rinse on the other. That would be nice.
How about just wash dishes?
I do. Don't you dare. I do. But it's just I don't like the farm sink. So anyway, back to the grapes. I had the grapes in a colander on the sink because I'm like, you walk by, you grab a grape, eat one, it's fine. Not thinking anything of it. Left them out overnight. This is yesterday morning now. So I'm up doing the radio show. Dogs are running around. Alan's here. Everything's fine. And then Alan leaves. He has to go take care of some business. And I'm in the office. After, I guess about noon, I walked out of the office. I hadn't heard the dogs or anything. And I looked down. I look on the counter. And I noticed some of the bunch of grapes is sitting on the counter, not in the sink anymore. And I was like, did Allen do that? Who did that? Because Emma Kelly hadn't been down. And then I go over to Zoey.
I ain't touched a grape in 10 years.
And Zoey is chewing on, you know how the grapes come in a bunch? The stem, the stalk that it comes on, I don't know what you call it. She's chewing on something. I'd have been down and that's what she's chewing on. And all I could think was, Zoey, get that out of your mouth. I assumed Emma Kelly had eaten the grapes and missed the trash can with the stalk. That's what I assumed at the moment.
And Kelly asked me about this. She called me or texted me and said, did you move the grapes? And this is while I was out, like she said. And the only thing I could think of was, well, number one, no, I didn't touch the grapes, but I remember the night before, Emma Kelly woke me up because I heard her in the kitchen at about 1:45 in the morning. So I just assumed it was Emma Kelly getting a snack, a midnight snack.
And I assumed that too, you know?
Versus the dog.
So that's where it stood at that point. So this is about noonish. Emma Kelly's up in her room. She's a teenager. She's asleep. And then she finally gets up. And I finally, about 5 o'clock, I say, come downstairs and be with the family. Be part of the family, Emma Kelly. You're going to be social with us. Trust me, I got teenage issues like everybody. So she comes, plops down. Harumphing. And we're sitting there and I'm attempting to make conversation with my child. And I finally bring up, just for whatever reason, I brought up the grapes. I said, did you get up in the middle of the night and leave the grapes on the counter?
Because you had some intel that might have been what happened.
Right, because Alan told me he heard her. And she said, no, I got up, but I didn't eat any grapes.
Uh-oh.
I said, well, Alan didn't eat them. You didn't get them. I said, Zoey must have done it. And she said, Mom, you know grapes are toxic to dogs. And I was like, I guess that was buried in the recesses of my mind, but I'd forgotten it. So I didn't panic in that moment. I'm like, well, is that bad? I mean, if she ate a couple grapes, is it bad? I don't know. Then comes the internet. And I'll tell you what happened after this.
Lots of bad stuff on the internet.
Oh, but there's some good stuff you can do online. You can handle all the packaging, shipping, mailing you could do at the post office online with stamps.com.
Stamps.com.
That's right. We're all being told to limit our essential, trips as much as we can. But for a lot of small businesses, especially now when you're scrambling and fighting for every dollar of business, going to the post office and mailing your packages, that is essential. But with stamps.com, you can do it all from the comfort and safety of your home or small office. With stamps.com, you can get the exact same postage you can get at the post office. It's official U.S. postage, but you'll get deals that they can't make you at the post office. Go up and try to negotiate a nickel off of every first class stamp. You can't do it at the post office, but you can do that with stamps.com. You can also get up to 62% off USPS and UPS shipping rates too. They're now working with UPS without the residential surcharges. And it's any class of mail. If you're sending out little postcards, if you're sending great big boxes of merchandise anywhere in the world, you can calculate the exact postage you need, which also saves you money. Get the discounts you can't get at the post office. Right now, when every dollar counts and money matters and your time matters, stamps.com is really a no-brainer.
And right now, our listeners get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a digital scale without any long-term commitment. Just go to stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in sandwich. That's stamps.com, enter sandwich.
And back to the horror story. So thank you, stamps.com, by the way.
Love stamps.com.
So I just kind of quickly looked, grapes are toxic. And I didn't really do the deep diving, but Alan was working on his computer. He destroyed the money we've been bleeding this week. Alan destroyed his laptop, fried it beyond repair, took it to an expert, had to get a new computer. It's just a big ordeal. So he's in there setting it up. So he's kind of cranky anyway because of...
On top of my normal level of crankiness, yes.
Okay, so I go in and I was like, Alan, I think Zoey ate the grapes and they might be toxic. And it's a little bit before 6 and our vet closes at 6. That's not even a mile from our house. And Alan kind of gets kind of snippy with me. I don't blame him. At the time, I was kind of defensive. I'm like, well, I'm not even sure she ate them. She might have just eaten a stalk. I don't know. And he's like, well, you should have been watching her, blah, blah, blah. I get it. He's right. I should have. I shouldn't take my eyes off of her. So I said, well, I'm just going to be on the safe side. I don't know if she ate the grapes or not. I'm going to take her to the vet. call the vet's office. Of course, you get the answering machine. It's like a quarter till. I say, I'm just going up there anyway. I'll call again when I get there. Pull up in the parking lot. They're getting ready to close. I'm walking around, and the vet gets on, and she goes, yeah, this is pretty serious. You need to take her to the emergency room. And here's the nearest one to us, which is about a 15-minute drive.
And meanwhile, I'm back at home frantically trying to figure out what if your dog eats a bunch of grapes, what that means. Right?
Yeah.
And what I found was some dogs can eat one and drop dead. Other dogs can eat 50 and be fine. There's no, and even the vet told me, there's no minimum dose for all dogs that applies.
We don't know.
It just depends on the dog.
I told Alan this. I said it's sort of like coronavirus. You can get it and have 0 symptoms, or you could be hooked up on a ventilator close to death.
But
how do you know until you have it?
But what scared the hell out of me is right before Kelly takes takes Zoey to the vet, she just, apparently I didn't see it happen, but apparently she's just standing there and she pees.
She peed all over the,
and she
never does that.
She doesn't do that. She's house trained. She knows to go outside.
That's when I got nervous. That's the part I left out. That's when I got nervous. It's like, I'm going to the vet right now.
Because
I thought her kidneys are already failing.
Because when I was online, that's what grapes do to dogs. It causes kidney failure. So what happens is they can't process whatever the chemical or whatever the toxin is in grapes. It causes their kidneys to shut down. When their kidneys shut down, then they can't pass any urine, or they just pee all over the place, or they poop all over the place. It's just, and it can kill some dogs. So when she peed, I was like, okay.
Then you were getting really mad at me then. But you know, it's like when there's a crisis situation, some people panic, some people get angry, some people, I don't blame him for a single emotion, because I was kicking myself. So I speed over to the emergency room. They come and take her from me. And the vet tech was like being real like, it's no big deal. And I'm like, is it really not that big of a deal? He's like, we don't know. Because I was telling him, I said, I don't really know if she ate one. I don't know how many she ate. She might have eaten none. I don't know. He's like, well, we'll find out. So they took her in. They said, just go park over there. And within like less than 3 minutes, I mean, it was just like that. The vet called me and said, well, we induced vomiting. She ate a lot of grapes. A lot. I said, how many? He's like, it was a lot. I don't know right now. He said, but what his advice was to keep her, they were going to give her charcoal that was going to bind up whatever other grapes were still in there and working their way through her system, and put her on IV. And they were going to keep her either 24 or 48 hours, depending on the level of damage that I had done to this dog. He didn't say it in that way. But everybody was so like, nobody was acting like this was a big deal. It's like, everybody's upbeat and light. And I'm like, oh,
they see that like all day, every day, right? I mean, they see dogs coming in for all kinds of stuff.
And of course, he tells me, we go ahead and get, should I tell him how much it's going to be? Is it okay?
Well, I mean, it's thousands of dollars.
Thousands.
Yeah.
It was close to $2,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. I said, but I don't care. It's my fault. He said, so we'll get your credit card. He said, if we keep her, this would be the maximum it is. And whatever we don't use of that and after the treatment, we'll refund the difference. I'm like, it's fine. Just do it. I'm so sorry. It's my fault, So anyway, he said, we'll do, I'm going to put you back on with the lady that's going to take your payment. And, we're going to take her blood now. I'll call you in an hour to let you know what's happening with her kidneys. Okay. So they put me on the phone with the lady, and she's like, I thought I recognized your voice. And I'm like, I'm really upset right now. Normally I'm like, hey, thanks for listening. I'm like, but I'm really just upset.
You just want, and you would have
give you my credit card.
You would have engaged in normal circumstances.
I would have.
Yes.
I'm just like, I'm really sorry. I said, I'm just really upset right now. Can I just give you my credit card number? So anyway, she probably thinks I'm horrible. So we come home, and by that point, Alan went from being mad to being really panicked.
Yeah.
And emotional.
I was upset.
It was bad.
I got all wound up reading what you read on the internet, and the vet said, that's probably the worst thing you can do is just go out there and start read. But I knew when I heard you guys in there talking about grapes, I was like, okay, Zoey ate the grapes. It connected with me. And I'm like, that's not good because dogs can't eat grapes. I didn't know that it causes their kidneys to shut down.
You just knew you heard.
But I
dogs
knew
can't eat
I heard
grapes.
that dogs can't eat grapes. So then I started to panic, and then I had done all this research by the time you got home, and that's when I was thinking, is that the last time I'm gonna ever see that dog? That's what I kept thinking. Is that the last you running out
and
the
you
door?
didn't even
with
say goodbye to her
No,
because
you-
I'm like, I gotta go, and
Yeah.
I just threw a leash on her and ran.
I don't know why my mind went there, but that was like the first thing that went through my mind. I'm like, that might have been the last damn time I ever seen that dog, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on, you know? So
Can you imagine
Yeah.
my guilt? And so Alan went from, I told him, I said, I'd rather you be mad at me because now he's sobbing. I'm crying. I shut the computer. I said, stop looking at it. There's nothing we can do. We just got to wait for the blood test to come back. So he's pacing the yard. I'm just like, I can't apologize enough. I'm just groveling. I'm so upset. And as we're waiting, the doctor said be an hour, and the watch, I'm just like looking at my watch. And after about an hour and 15 minutes, I said, I can't stand it anymore. But while we're just laying on the bed, lights are out, we're just being calm. And I thanked him, Kellie. I said, if you hadn't come down and said that about the grapes, I would have probably, both of us, gone to bed last night, just woken up this morning.
And then Lord knows
and
what would
maybe
have happened.
Zoey would have been acting weird and funny, and we might not have figured it out. Well, let's just see if she feels better later.
And
There's
then
no telling what
and then it could have been
happened.
too late.
So if that hadn't happened, where I made him and Kellie come down, I made her talk to me. I thanked her. I said, "You saved that dog's life. You're the impetus of that. Is that the right word?" So after about an hour, 15 minutes, couldn't wait. I called the doctor, and he answered actually, and he said, "Well, blood work shows the kidneys are at normal levels right now." And I'm like, I was like happy, but then you get the but we have to wait. I mean, it's the first 24 hours. You know, we got to see how her system does. So they were going to keep her overnight, keep her pumped up with fluids. And he said he would call us this morning at between 6:30 and 7 a.m. I was like, well, I'll be on the radio. So I gave him Alan's number. And of course, the worry, the stress, we were both it was just bad. There's something about emotional fatigue that is different than physical fatigue, don't you think?
Yeah, it just wears you out.
It was exhausting. We were
totally wears you out.
exhausted from just the worry and the crying and the stress. And I was so scared when I was about to come back after I took her to the emergency room and I was about to come in the house. I was so scared to come in because I just knew at that point, this dog is going to die and it is my fault. And I don't know if Alan's ever going to be able to forgive me for that. And so I went on Instagram Live. I didn't save it or anything. I said, whoever is watching this right now, I was like, please just pray. And I know some people think that is the stupidest thing to people that don't have a dog and that kind of connection with the dog. I guess they don't understand it. But I was like, just everybody pray. And I had people reaching out to me. Laura, who went on our our family vacation last year. She's a nurse. She's not an animal nurse. She's a people nurse. And she said she called her nurse prayer warriors, and she had prayer warriors praying. I mean, I cannot tell you how sweet that was. The people that were, and if anybody said anything negative, like, you're so stupid, I was shielded from that. And I don't know if that was by the hand of God.
Nobody said anything.
There's people out there that are like, you're so stupid, you should have known.
No.
But you don't know what you don't know, you know? You don't know. Everybody knows chocolate's poisonous to a dog. Well, my mother didn't when she used to give our dog Tootsie Rolls as a treat.
Okay, everybody doesn't know
Until you know.
every food that is toxic to dogs. And we're going to list them all.
We are.
Here on this podcast.
We're going to get everybody up to date.
We're going to get everybody who listens up to date. But no, it's not your fault or anyone's fault. You know, when Kellie first told me, my first reaction was, well, how did the dog get in the sink? You know, because I wasn't home and I was a little miffed. You're
a lot miffed.
I was miffed.
It's okay.
I wasn't saying this is your fault that this happened. I was just trying to understand, how did the dog get up on the sink, in the sink, and eat 20 grapes? I couldn't process that. That's the part I was having a problem understanding.
I know.
And I wasn't mad when Kellie came back. I wasn't angry at all. I was scared out of my mind, and I was heartbroken because, like I said, I didn't think I was going to see the dog again.
I know, it's awful.
You know? So,
and when they took the dog, and the little vet tech, he just took the dog from me, and I'm like, I didn't. Bye, Zoey. You know, it was just like one of those things. It was awful. It was awful. So a restless night of sleep. I drank more than a half a bottle of wine. I was just like, I just needed to sit down, and I was just like, ugh. I had Zoey dreams. So I get up this morning and I'm on the air and I'm just a mess. I can't string a sentence together. I'm so worried. What's this phone call going to be? Are we going to get a good phone call or a bad phone call? And Alan peeked his head around the corner. He called right on time, or did you call him? Did you finally call him?
No, he called right on time.
Okay.
I think he called about 6:30 in the morning. No, he just said, we've been watching her. She's eating good. She's using the bathroom, she's peeing and pooing, which is good. Those are good signs. And, we're going to measure her blood again or take another sample after 24 hours. And I said, well, did you take one this morning? He said, no. We took one last night when she got here. Everything was cool. We're just keeping our eyes on her, got her hooked up to the IV. She's eating little tiny bites every 4 hours. And then we'll take another sample this evening after, the 24-hour cycle goes.
So we were waiting on pins and needles all day for that.
Yeah. So I said, okay, well, that's pretty good news. They didn't notice anything odd or strange, and she's acting healthy. So I kind of just hand signaled all this to Kelly while she was on the radio. I'm
like, yeah. So I felt better, but I felt like a lot calmer about it, but not completely, because you don't know. So we're waiting and we're killing time all day. And I took my daughter to eat, I'm just trying to stay busy. Alan's working on the truck. And then finally, we got the phone call.
Yeah. So the vet called at...
It was around 6:30.
Yeah, really right on time, like 24 hours. Mm-hmm. Said they checked her blood, and they said there's nothing wrong with it in terms of her kidney operation.
Normal function, normal levels.
Yeah, everything is good with her blood. He said, I feel really comfortable with letting her go home tonight. So you're like, oh my God, that's like the best news ever.
And Alan was cooking a chicken in the oven. I was like, you want to go get her. I know you want to go get her. So I stayed home and watched the chicken. And Alan went and picked up Zoey tonight. And I cannot tell you, I almost started crying again when he left to go get her, because I was just so washed over with great gratitude, and I was so thankful. I went back on Instagram Live and I said, look, I just want everybody to know, if y'all were probably here the same time last night when I was crying and begging for prayers, that the prayers were answered. And I know some people are going to say, well, your dog was just lucky. You just got one of the lucky dogs. I'm like, no, I 100% believe that divine intervention and all those prayers that went up for me and Alan, because we were just wrecks, and for that sweet dog who's got the cutest little face and just the most precious thing. She's going to get so much love now, y'all don't even know. And she's also going to be watched like a hawk. I will never bring another grape in this house. I cannot thank y'all enough for the people who checked on us and just didn't make me feel worse than I already felt.
Yeah, Kelly felt I could tell she felt awful, and
horrible.
I just wanted her to understand that, and I tried to explain it to her. I said, look, I'm not mad one bit about any of this. This isn't your fault. It could have happened to anybody. It's just an accident, but I said, Zoey is like a toddler. She is, and she's like think about an athletic toddler.
Yeah.
I mean, she is a strong dog. She can jump way up in the air.
And she's everything in her mouth.
Oh my God. Everything goes in her mouth. So
she comes in with wood chips from mulch. She came in the other day. We had some guys in the back, and she had some sort of metal thing she was chewing on.
She brought in a dead lizard one time.
We're always looking. What's in your mouth? What's in your mouth? Constantly.
She's like a little toddler, and I said, it's just the way it is now. She's only 10 months old. We have got to keep our eyes on her. Not 24/7, but you got to be we both have to be aware of where she is in the house and what she's doing.
Yeah, just because they're being quiet doesn't mean they're not doing something wrong. And that's my bad. I was like, oh, they're being good. They're being quiet. They're not fighting. They're probably napping,
But Kelly and I both have left food on the counter, and you think, oh, okay, it's safe on the counter. Dog can't get up there. Oh, she found a way up there. And I was telling Kelly too, and she knows this, that dogs can smell like things that you can't smell. So as soon as there's stuff on the counter, they could be in another room. They're like, there's something on the counter, and so that's kind of like what we're dealing with is a dog that's just super intelligent, super curious, mischievous,
and the cutest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah. And so,
but she's alive and she's healthy. Yeah. And I just praise the Lord and thank you all so much.
I think I was also, just real quick, babe, I was trying to explain to Kelly, I was kind of surprised at how upset I was. And just all these things went through my mind. We've only had that dog 2 months.
It seems like a lot longer, but I guess
a little over 2 months.
Because we're in quarantine and COVID and all that, I guess it just seems longer. But yeah, it's only been a couple months.
We got Zoey around when Cole's birthday. But I was telling Kelly, I said, I just had all these things flash through my mind that I hadn't thought about in a long time. I told her when I was a kid, I had 2 dogs and they both got sick. And I remember, I think one we had to give away and one got put down, and they were puppies. And then later on, I had a dog in my previous marriage named Sydney, which was one of the best dogs I've ever seen. Just a super smart, beautiful dog. She was part Australian Shepherd. She just kind of lived a lot of her life alone in a laundry room because of 2 working people. And I just don't think that dog really lived a life that a dog should. And I always felt guilty about that. And then I got divorced and then I took the dog, but then I couldn't take care of the dog. And then
you were working all the time.
I was working. And then my parents took care of Sydney her last 3 or 4 years. And then she died at my parents' house, and I was just telling Kelly with Zoey, it's just like, she's so sporty and cool, and
she's yours.
Well,
and she's yours.
We've kind of bonded, right? It sounds corny, but we have.
It's true.
And when she got sick, I was like, oh man, I might not see her again. I guess that's why I got so upset. I just had all these old dogs flash through my head. I know. It was kind of weird. But
you're and I grew up like we had dogs all the time, dogs, cats, in, out, and we'd lose dogs, and it's just, I don't know. As an adult, it's just different because I guess when I was growing up with dogs, they were always my parents' dogs or whatever. But, I've had, as an adult, I've had George, which I had for the longest time, Larry, and now Zoey. And it's just to have, we've had dogs that run out and get hit by cars or whatever. And you're always like, oh, that's so sad and awful. But this would have been, I don't know that I could have lived with that guilt of stupid grapes.
I just think of all the things the little things that dog does too that are just so sweet. Like
I know we're acting like we're telling you her obituary.
Well, yeah,
but she's alive.
We're just trying to give you an idea, I guess, why we feel the way we do. Like when I go tuck the boys in, she follows us up there, and then the boys will go in and brush their teeth, and then I'll kind of hop in.
She's still alive, honey.
I know.
It's okay.
I know. I just like thinking about it. I hop under the bed with Dylan, and then Cole goes up into his bunk bed. And then Zoey jumps up in Dylan's bed with me and Dill, and then he'll come up and lick Dylan on the face like she's giving him a goodnight kiss, and then she'll go down and lay at his feet, and then we'll kind of talk for a little while. That's our little routine, And then when the boys fall asleep, I quietly get out of bed, and she'll lay there, and I'll go to the door, and I'll just snap my fingers, and then she'll jump out of the bed and follow me downstairs. She does that every night.
Man, you should see her come barreling down the stairs. It's so bad because through wood, we need to get some carpet on. She's like all the way down the stairs. But I was just telling Alan the day before I almost killed her. She was so loving to me. She was just like nuzzling and licking, and she just couldn't get enough of me. And then I was about the end of her. So anyway, she survived it, but we are going to...
You weren't about the end of her.
I was, Alan. I accept the blame. I accept it. But I also thank the Lord and all of y'all for all of y'all's prayers of intercession on my behalf. Now, we're going to also tell you a list of other foods and things that dogs cannot eat, and probably cats too. Of course, we have to take just care of just a little bit of business, but I'm so excited to tell you. Have you been to Rothy's website lately? Because I don't know what's gotten into them, but they are cranking out new styles all the time. Now, Rothy's, when I first started, talking about them, not even a year or so ago, they had a couple of flats, the round toe and the pointy toe flat, which I still love. That might still be, your first pair of Rothy's you never forget, the little red camo pointy toe flat. But y'all, they've added since then the sneaker. They have, I just checked, they have flip flops. They have a triple band slide for summer. They had the sneaker, but now the lace up sneaker they've added. They've got so many cute colors and they're just always keeping it coming, keeping it fresh because they know how passionate people are about their Rothy's. And when you get a pair of Rothy's, you want more because women want to wear great looking shoes that make you feel cute, but you don't have to wear a 6-inch heel to feel like you look your best. And with Rothy's, you don't have to break them in. They're comfortable from the moment you put them on. They're made of repurposed plastic water bottles and marine plastics. They've added a line of bags you need to check out. But Rothy's, I'm telling you what, they've got some great spring colors. I love the flame. It's like this orangey red color that they have in the point that I love so much, and also the cherry red cap toe I've got my eye on. And if you know how much somebody in your life, hears me talking about Rothy's, are like, oh my gosh, they have gift cards on Rothy's, and they also have them that you can give physically and virtually with times like these. And also, remember, they're diverting all that plastic from recycling and going into the ocean, so you're doing good. And if your Rothy's ever get messy, just throw them in the wash. It's like getting a fresh pair every time.
And check out all the amazing styles, amazing shoes, and bags available right now at rothys.com/sandwich. That's rothys.com, ROTHYS.com/sandwich. Style and sustainability meet to create your new favorites. Head to rothys.com/sandwich today.
And I failed to mention free shipping and free returns.
There you go.
Because the first time I ordered the point, I ordered my usual 9. I needed to get a half size bigger. Easy breezy. I recommend you go up a half size on the point too. All right, so we have done, like I said, we went on the internet, scared the crap out of ourselves over what could have possibly happened to Zoey. Thank the Lord, we have the best case scenario that could have happened. She is home with us now. But we're going to tell you a list of foods. Now, a lot of people say, oh, we know dogs can't have chocolate and grapes. Well, there's a whole lot more they can't have, and Alan's got the list for you.
So these are foods that may be toxic for dogs, according to the Humane Society. Some of these you're like, oh, yeah. And then some, like, I had no idea. We'll just go down the list, babe. There's quite a few. Alcoholic beverages.
Did y'all watch Love is Blind? That cuckoo bird girl that was messing with the younger guy that she wasn't really attracted to, but he was the only one that liked her? She was giving her dog wine to drink. Toxic.
Apple seeds, apricot pits, avocados. I have heard about avocados.
Did you know about apple seeds? Because remember, we used to let the dog, because Alan
Apples are
loves
okay.
to eat apples.
Apples are okay. Alan, seeds are not.
He would let the dog lick the apples, but I didn't know about the seeds.
Yeah.
I'd never heard that.
Apples are okay. I knew the seeds were not good. Because I looked up, can I feed my dog apple? I was chomping on an apple one time, and Larry jumps up and starts sniffing it. So I immediately go on, and I'm like, can dogs eat apples? And everywhere I found said, yeah, dogs can eat apples, but don't give them the seeds.
Okay, so apple seeds.
Apricot pits, avocados, cherry pits, candy, particularly chocolate, which a lot of people know is toxic to dogs, cats, and ferrets. Coffee, including the grounds, the beans, and chocolate-covered espresso beans. Garlic. I had somebody on social media message me and say I had a dog who died.
They had no idea.
Because they ate garlic.
And, blames herself.
Grapes.
But don't,
Gum. Hops. Not sure if a lot of people have a lot of hops lying
beer,
around. But
right?
yeah, beer. Macadamia nuts, moldy foods, mushroom plants, mustard seeds, onions and onion powder, peach pits, potato leaves and stems, so the green parts, raisins, which are dried up grapes, rhubarb leaves, salt, and too much salt.
Oh.
You have a little bit of salt, but too much salt. Tea, because it contains caffeine. Anything with caffeine is a no-no. Tomato leaves and stems. So
now, all these potentially fatal, or they're just not good for them?
They're potentially toxic. I guess the fatal would be how much and what kind of dog and the weight and all that.
Because that's a lot.
Walnuts, anything with xylitol in it. XYLITOL.
That's a sugar substitute, right?
It's an artificial sweetener that is toxic to pets. And then yeast dough. So those are all foods that may be toxic to dogs. And here's another list from hillspet.com. That first list was from Humane Society. Hillspet.com, which makes Hill Science diet food. For cats, raw eggs, raw meat, and bones. They could get E. coli or salmonella poisoning. Chocolate and caffeinated drinks for cats. Alcohol, raw dough. Raw dough expands in the stomach of a cat and creates alcohol.
Oh.
And milk and dairy products. Some people think it's okay to give their cats milk. Cats generally have troubles digesting lactose in milk.
So where did that get started? They would give them all milk.
But some cats have milk and they're fine. Kind of depends on the cat, but to be safe.
I remember the vet when we had cats, they said just give them water. But, you see everybody gives a cat milk.
Grapes and raisins for cats. And then this is the one I thought was really interesting. Dog food. It says, though dog food is not toxic to cats, your cat needs a very different set of nutrients than a dog. Cat food should contain plenty of vitamin A, taurine, something acid, and protein, and dog food has much lower levels of these nutrients. Dogs can survive with lower levels of vitamin A and protein, while cats cannot. Dogs are also able to produce taurine and whatever that acid is, but cats must have these acids in their food. Without a sufficient amount of taurine, cats can develop heart disease, vision, and dental issues. So dog food shouldn't be fed to cats.
Isn't that crazy? And also somebody, because I did get a lot of people like, Kelly, listen, I've been there, I've done stupid things too. But, Larry, our dog Larry, he had this little red devil, stuffed devil. He loved that little thing, and he had it forever.
His baby.
And he would chew on it and play with it and wrestle it, but he never destroyed it. I mean, he never ripped a seam in it. He'd chew on it, but not
He just kind of mouthed it.
He mouthed it, and it was dirty and nasty looking, but I left it alone because it had all this goodie on it, He loved it. Well, here comes Zoey. And no matter what Larry has, Zoey wants it. And Zoey destroyed it. And every time Larry get it, she'd come and take it from it. And it made me, I'll be honest, I had some issues with Zoey at first. I'm like, that's not right. Because, I felt like poor Larry, his world was rocked. And now he can't even have his devil. So Alan threw the devil away because it was kind of destroyed, and I got upset. So he went and got it back out of the trash can. I stitched it up. I am not a seamstress, so it was kind of, half-ass stitched. But I stitched it up, and I gave it back to Larry. And every time I could, I'd say, no, Zoey, and that's Larry's, and I'd always wrestle it. Well, Zoey got a hold of it again, and the next time I saw it, it was just tattered, and all that fluff that stuffing in these stuffed animals is everywhere. I didn't think anything of it, threw it away. Alan went and bought Larry another animal, trying to think, well, maybe we'll replace it. Zoey again attacked it.
Because I got the devil in the clearance pile.
Yeah.
And that's where I got that bee from the clearance pile.
But the bee wasn't made as strong as the devil was.
The bee lasted about 3 days.
Not even. And Zoey destroyed it. I took a shower. When I got out, she was just sitting there with the empty shell and fluff everywhere. And somebody said,
well, she could have eaten.
She could have eaten it. And then that would have been really bad. So no more stuffed animals with our dogs. I'm sorry for Larry. None that have that fluffy filling.
Right.
Because that dog will eat it, and that can get into their little bodies. And somebody else said, don't let dogs get around like potato chip bags. It's because they can suffocate.
Oh, yeah, stick their head. She's so curious, Like that time she brought in that dead lizard. And then the next day, she's got like the worst case of diarrhea, remember?
Yeah.
And I had to take her in for that.
Yeah, probably the lizard had some like toxins or something on it,
She'll put anything in her mouth.
Anything.
And we're kissing on her. And
I know, she's so sweet. And Alan did eat some of that barbecue after she licked on it.
Yeah, I did.
But we love her.
I'm still here.
Yeah, we're all still here. Judge us.
Yeah.
I didn't eat it. I just saved it. So anyway, it was a happy ending, and hopefully a warning to a lot of people, and it will save y'all the same stress, and hopefully we saved some little puppy and kitty cat lives tonight.
Yeah, I hope so, because I was surprised, when I posted about this, a lot of people said, gosh, I didn't realize grapes were toxic.
Everybody knows chocolate.
And
well, we didn't at first.
I was the same way. I kind of knew, but I didn't really know.
Yeah.
I didn't really know how serious it was.
Right.
Like I knew they couldn't have them, but I didn't know.
How bad could it be?
Yeah, I didn't know it could kill them. I had no idea.
Right. It's like my mother, she used to give, we had a Pomeranian named Sugar, and she'd treat her with Tootsie Roll bites, those little tiny ones. And the dog just eat them. And then finally one day, and this went on for a while, so
Like
that dog must
like
have had
how
a
long?
strong, I don't know, like my mom could tell you, but one day Sugar just didn't get up. She could not stand up. Her limbs gave out. She was like paralyzed. And my mom took her to the vet, and come to find out, my mom was poisoning her by treating her with Tootsie Rolls. So, of course, my mom feels horrible, and the dog survived it, or I would not be telling you that story, making my mom look bad. But then she got her next dog, JoJo, and she said, and JoJo had he recently passed away with cancer, but he had a very weird diet, and she'd had to cook his food, remember? She had to cook it all, and she'd make these meat and vegetables. There's certain vegetables you can give to dogs as treats, especially if they have weight problems, like carrots and bell peppers and things like that. So my mother was chopping up vegetables and mixing them with this meat and cooking it, and she was cooking with onions. Because she's like, well, I knew raw onions were bad, but I didn't think they would be bad if you cooked them. So she was poisoning with cooked onions. Again, didn't kill him. He was fine.
No offense, but I'm not going to let your mom feed our dogs. Jeez.
Lord, y'all. This is my mother. Oh, Lord. We're from South Carolina. That's my excuse for everything. My brother, when he was little, he was like 2, and he was coming off the bottle at night. She put him to bed, and she put Pepsi in his bottle. He'd go to bed every night with Pepsi. And she said she knew he was done and going to sleep when he'd drink it, throw the Pepsi bottle against the empty bottle against the wall, and he'd go to sleep. Put him to bed with Pepsi in the bottle. I love that.
I don't know.
Hey, we're all here.
I guess
and we're all here.
It's his brain fully developed.
We all drank out of water hoses in the backyard, and we were fine.
Yeah, I did that.
Let me tell you what I drank. I drank water out of the sink. Who does that anymore?
Well, I do that today.
It's a mental hang up I have now.
E. coli and all that stuff that's in that old nasty water hose.
And we drank it. Anyway. So that's that. That's enough dog and PSA stuff. You have some letters that you said you wanted to get to.
Well, you probably want to do that.
I know, but let's just kind of break it up a little bit.
Okay. Producing the show now? Is
yes,
that what you're doing?
I am.
Okay. Let's see here. What do we got here, babe? We've got a few letters. Why don't we read one from... I don't know.
You said you had all these letters.
I should have read these first.
You said you had them.
We'll just go impromptu. Okay, here's one from Leah. Leah says, "Hi, Kellie and Allen and family.
Hi.
I'm a huge fan of both of you, and I have been a longtime listener of the Kidcratic, nationally syndicated, or Kelly and the Rest, LOL. So here's my situation. I am a blind massage therapist with a private practice.
Oh.
I am blessed in so many ways. I am happily married with 3 awesome grown children and a career that I love. However, now I think I need to rethink my career path, and I am lost and scared. I've had my private practice for 8 years, and yes, I truly love what I do for a living. However, with the coronavirus now around my life, it's been turned upside down. My husband is a musician, so when the shutdown happened, we were both out of jobs, and he's still not been able to go back.
So sorry.
But I have been able to slightly open back up, but only with my pre-existing clients, and most of those have not returned. I completely understand that, but now I need to make some changes. We financially barely survived the shutdown, and we're now only making it thanks to the government's assistance. I need to career-wise make a few changes. I would love to start a podcast. I would like also to sell products online that are health-related, or maybe even offer online hypnotherapy. My ideas are brimming, but how to get started? Your advice is desperately wanted and appreciated. Scared but encouraged. Leah, licensed massage therapist.
Well, I am very hopeful that things after, they're working on that vaccine, and I think once that's probably out there and people have a sense of what's the word, normalcy.
Mm-hmm.
I think once the vaccine gets out there, that people will start, feeling more normal again, that life will slowly getting back to normal. And hopefully you'll still be able to do your massage businesses. That's your true passion. But I love the idea of, diversifying. I think that's great. It's hard for me to tell somebody how to start a podcast because of the unique situation I am in. I work for, a man who bought a podcast company.
Amen.
And he needed content.
I need content. Amen.
And so basically, when he was starting, he just told everybody that worked at
y'all start a podcast.
at the Kid Craddock Morning Show studios, on the air and off the air.
You know what that is?
Because people behind the scenes, they're like, a lot of people get into radio thinking, I want to be on the air, I want to be on the air. And it doesn't always work out that way. They end up in the back, but they're still creative and they want to, do something creative. And he said, start a podcast.
Amen.
And so basically anybody that wanted one up there, he'd give one. And
Hey, Kelly, this is George.
Get it out of your system, honey.
Hey, Kelly, do you think Alan will do a podcast with you? Amen. I know you're getting married here in a few months. You think he'll do one? Amen. Kelly, you
and
there?
The answer was yes.
Okay.
The answer was yes.
Does he even know what one is?
No, we didn't know. But I know that there are a lot of people who don't work for our boss who start podcasts. And I think honestly, I think it's not that difficult of a process to get one up and loaded to Apple, the iTunes, right? Apple Podcasts.
No, if the question is how to start a podcast, the technical part of it's real easy. That's the easy part. The easy part is getting your equipment set up. I mean, you can Google what equipment do I need for a podcast.
It's really not that complicated.
It's really pretty simple. In fact, when Kelly and I first started, we had 2 microphones and a handheld recorder. That's all we needed, and then a laptop
and you just have to know how.
And a wireless connection. There you go.
Alan knows all that stuff. You just plug in this little disc and upload it to the universe, and you just have to have it, distributed through, Apple Music, Google Play, or whatever.
Now, the tough part is, what are you going to talk about? That's the part that everyone struggles with. Is what is your podcast like? What's the content? Are you going to specialize in this? Are you going to talk to only women? Are you going to talk to only men? Do you want your podcast to be universal? Are you going to talk politics? What are you going to talk about? That's the hard part, is defining that.
You could also bypass the whole, if that seems too overwhelming, you could start a YouTube quote unquote podcast, right? Like Alan and I, we record our podcast on YouTube. And, we record it live with an audience. We have a small group of faithful that watch us when we record it. Usually it's less than 100 people that watch when we record it, but then it's posted and people can come watch it. And that's another thing to do. And you don't need anything but your laptop to do that. You can talk about anything you want and upload it. That'd be a great way to get started and maybe build your audience, because the way you build an audience with YouTube, I think, is a lot easier than building an audience through a podcast. I really do. Use the right hashtags and things.
Yeah. That's a totally different thing, though. It's a video versus an audio format, but she could do that. Yeah, she could do that. But
as far as the podcast, I mean, it's just a matter of, and then how do you get the word out there about it?
Yeah. Marketing a podcast takes a lot of work too. And here's the thing, if you're going to start a podcast, and this goes for anybody who's thinking about it, don't do it because you think you're going to make a lot of money. Seriously.
No, you won't.
Seriously. Because there are, last number that George told me, there are over 750,000 different podcasts. And the ones that actually make money, it's like a tiny little percentage of that 750,000.
Everybody hears the Joe Rogan story.
Oh, yeah.
A bazillionaire, but he is a unicorn in, podcasting. And there are some people just barely, there are very few people that make their living solely from the podcast. Usually, for most people, it's like an extension. They use it like as a marketing tool for a real estate, like a real estate agent. Well, I'll do a podcast about, all the great things that go on in the city and the community. It's a great way to advertise myself. So it's an extension of advertising yourself.
And that might be something you could talk about, Leah, is, you have a lot of experience doing massage therapy. I'm sure there are a million stories that you could tell about the massage therapy business or techniques, or
Didn't she say she wanted to also concentrate on holistic something or nutrition, hypnotherapy and things like that?
Maybe it's healthy living. Maybe your podcast has to do with healthy living.
And you reach out to people in that industry that you really admire and say, hey, and people will be a guest on a podcast. They don't ask how many you reach. They're like, yes, you could get people lined up and do some really great interviews. But, I mean, a lot of the answers lie in Google.
Yeah.
Just what equipment do I need? How do I upload to Apple Apple Podcasts and just go from there.
But it's surprising. I get this question a lot. I want to start my own thing. I don't know what to do. What do I do? Like, one of the first things you have to decide is if you do a podcast or you do a hypnotherapy business or you do whatever you're thinking about doing, try to figure out like who's going to be your audience. Like, I always think of it from like a marketing perspective. Who are you going to market to? Who are you going to talk to? And how are you going to get your message to that group of people? I mean, that's just kind of the first thing you need to decide is there a market for that? You know, I mean, you can talk about hypnotherapy all you want, but is there a group of people who will listen to you talk about hypnotherapy?
And nothing but that.
And
so
nothing
you
but
have
hypnotherapy.
To, you know,
yeah.
Because with us, we started off, we're blending to, you know, families, getting married and stuff. And it's like, well, there's only so much we could talk about there. You have to talk about other things eventually.
Yeah, we didn't want to.
And sometimes it's like, man, we got to do a podcast. We really don't have anything to talk about. What are we going to do? So,
Alan, you shouldn't tell them we don't know what we're doing.
We shouldn't say that.
You shouldn't
on
say
the
that on the podcast. You shouldn't tell them. It
time.
makes it sound unprofessional.
Yeah.
Don't tell them that.
Right. Not while we're doing it. Don't say we don't know what we're doing while we're doing it. You can talk about it later.
So you'd rather just say we don't know what we're doing before we do the podcast?
No, don't sit there and say we don't know what we're talking about. You just fake it.
Well, we don't know what we're talking about.
We do sometimes. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we don't. But good luck with that. I know it's stressful, and I am so sorry you're struggling, and I hope that the tide's about to turn and we're rounding this bend, because let's be honest, 2020 has sucked up one side and down the other. I hate 2020. I went into 2020.
Sounds kind of weird.
I know. I don't care. I went into 2020 so optimistic that this is going to be our year. And this has just been the worst. It's been the worst. But you know what? It could have been worse. We could not be having Zoey in there waiting for us to get off this podcast.
It can always be worse.
It could always be worse. So knock wood. All right, let me tell you.
I did that the other day. I did knock on wood.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot why I said that, but I knocked on Cole's head. He goes, "Daddy, why did you knock on my head?"
Oh, he didn't get it.
He didn't get it. I was like, "'Cause your head's made out of wood, boy."
That's an old dad joke.
Yeah, it's very dad.
You're right. Okay, y'all. I know a lot of people, you have some time. You're like, I've got to distract myself from the news, bad news. I want to just escape for a minute. Have you been playing Best Fiends?
Best Fiends, yes.
Because Alan, our nightly ritual, he comes to bed finally. And what am I doing, babe?
Get it, babe. Collect them cute characters. Kill them slugs.
Kill them slugs. I'm going to get
she is in there
baseball
doing
hat. I'm going to get a nightgown that says "Kill them slugs."
Kill them slugs.
So that's what he says. That's our nighttime ritual. And then he kisses me goodnight and he rolls over and I keep killing slugs. Listen, Best Fiends. It is a fun game to play. If you're not playing it now, you should be, because you could spend hours a day on it if you want to, or if you just like, you know what, I need 10 or 15 minutes just to check out. Best Fiends is there. I'm hooked. And if you're anything like me, you will be too. And if you don't have Wi-Fi, it's not a problem. You don't even need an internet connection to play. So right now I am enjoying the Painting Roses event. So what I have to do is beat all these levels to collect my roses. I spin the wheel to gather more roses. I defeat the slugs to win some more roses. It's like a tournament of roses, right? All virtual and online. But I could even win gold too. It's like a little fun competition. Some levels, it's not like, you want it to be a little challenging, but not so frustrating that you're angry at it. That's how Best Fiends is. Right now, I'm at level 916, Alan.
Wow.
I'm on the sludge path. I'm having a little trouble getting past the sludge path, but I'm going to get there.
You're getting up there.
I'm going to get there because I'm going to collect enough raindrops to defeat the slug. It's just going to take me.
Have you collected any bees?
Bees?
Yeah, because Dylan said he plays it and he collects. I thought he said beans.
Oh, that bees. Yeah, no. Yeah, the bees.
He goes, Daddy, not beans, bees.
Well, the hives, there's certain levels that have beehives. And when you put matches next to the beehives, it releases the bees.
There you
have
go.
to collect a certain amount of bees.
See?
And then
collect them cute characters.
And then once the hives are empty, then the beehives are dead. And then you just got to defeat the slugs based on your combinations.
There you go.
It's so fun. And right now I'm helping Thor find his hammer. And when I do all my tasks, I can add Viking Vincent to my team. Y'all, I've got a problem, but it's a good problem. It's called Best Fiends. And you know you want to play because you've heard me talk about like, Kelly, all right, you and Alan have convinced me to give it a try. So go on, You know you want to.
Viking Vincent.
Yes, he's a cute slug. He's like a little Nordic thing. Every time there's a holiday, all the little characters and slugs and stuff, they dress up. Like for 4th of July, it was all patriotic. And then for Halloween, they do like little Halloween costumes. And at Christmas, they've got like the little thing, the slug and the sleigh. It's
Best
cute.
Fiends has thousands of levels already with new levels, events, and characters like Viking Vincent added every month. It's hours of fun right at your fingertips, and you can even play offline with over 100 million downloads.
Wow.
That's a lot of downloads and tons of 5-star reviews. Best Fiends is a must play. Download Best Fiends free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's Friends without the R. Best Fiends.
Thank you, baby.
Love Best Fiends.
Thank you for encouraging me in my gameplay. Next time I tell you about Best Fiends, I'm going to be past 1,000.
You got the boys on Best Fiends now.
I know.
So, Daddy, I collected.
Fun. We can talk about it. We can like, hey, what level are you on?
He said, I collected bees. I said, why are you collecting beans? He goes, no, bees.
That was a few levels ago. I don't think I've come across a beehive lately. Let's do another letter before we wrap things up.
All right, babe. Sure, we'll do that. Let's see here.
I just don't want this night to end. I'm on a euphoric high. I'm exhausted. You know, that emotional roller coaster. I almost finished off that bottle of wine tonight during the podcast. I don't know if I would have made it, but
okay. I think this one might be more of a comment than a question, but we'll talk about it. We'll take a look at it and talk about it. This one is from Evelyn.
Or Evelyn.
Well, Evalyn.
Well, I had an Aunt Evelyn.
To me, that looks like Evelyn.
I know. She might pronounce it that
way. It
way.
may be Evelyn, though, because Evans is EVANS, and it's Evans, not Evans. I think it's Evelyn. Kellie and Allen.
You mean Ellen?
Yeah. I'm a longtime listener of both your podcast and the Kid Craddock Morning Show.
Thank you, Evelyn.
Nationally syndicated. I just wanted you all to know that one of the reasons I keep listening to your podcast is that you are both so relatable to me, and I am sure to many other listeners. Okay? Kellie, I can relate to you on your quest to take a college course.
Oh.
I am also very challenged with technology.
Yeah.
I
up.
tell you, ain't nobody challenged more than Kellie Raspberry Evans. If I can go back to grad school at UNT, change careers after 30 plus years in marketing.
UNT.
UNT.
That's UNT.
I know what UNT is.
Well, not everybody listening knows what that is.
Says,
University of North Texas, by the way.
It says UNT.
Well, not everybody knows that.
They had a radio station there.
Stop it. Keep going.
30 plus years in marketing, conquer online classes, and graduate with a master's in education all over the age of 55. You can definitely do an online class.
Nope. Can't.
I also feel
can't.
I also feel very challenged with putting together decor, choosing paint color, and the like. If you figure out how to increase your knowledge of decor and color without going back to college, please share with your listeners. Maybe you should have a guest speaker on the podcast for us.
That'd be lovely.
It's a good idea.
Apparently, there's some master class series offered by
Kelly Worstler.
Yeah, but what is that on Yahoo something? What is it?
No, she doesn't. I think she does it on YouTube.
It's a YouTube masterclass.
Either that or Instagram.
God, I don't know. But I'm going to Google it because I remember I was seeing ads whenever I'd open up my, I think it was on Yahoo. They were giving me ads anyway. And it's about all these experts and they do like a master class, but you have to pay, but it's nowhere near online tuition. It was not that expensive, right? Do you remember looking into that?
Which one?
The master classes, those video series.
I don't know how much.
It was less than $100.
It wasn't as much as the other one.
Thank God we got the refund. Did you see the email I sent to you?
I hadn't seen no refund yet.
They said they should credit our credit card.
It ain't been credited. Believe me, I check every day.
Anyway, so apparently there's that. And if you know I love Living with Landon, she has a podcast now. And I've gotten a lot of listeners. I haven't listened to it yet, but she apparently, like a couple podcasts ago, had an interior decorator on and was giving all sorts of tips. So that's something you can check out as well.
Allen, I can also relate to you in a couple of ways. I also spent 34 years in marketing, communications, tech writing, etc. before I decided to change careers and become a teacher. I don't know about you, but I felt like a lot of the work I was doing for high-tech IT-related companies just didn't matter to them. Yeah. So many mergers, acquisitions, reorganizations, which resulted in multiple layoffs, lack of leadership. She had no manager for 6+ months after a merger. WTF. And the like. I just decided to do something different for myself. Glad you have found it in the many businesses that you and Kelly have launched. I also relate to your journey to Texas Tech. The only difference is I went to Baylor. Okay, well, I won't hold that against you. I grew up in a small, I can't ever say this word. Rural community in North Texas.
You can't say milk either.
You can't give cats milk. In North Texas, and my parents really wanted me to go to Texas A&M. Boo. Nah, it's okay. I got a lot of friends that are Aggies, Melissa. Only God had a different idea. One day, my high school counselor announced that she was taking a small group in her car to tour Baylor and invited me to go. I thought, I'd love a day off from school, and I went. I took one look at the campus and felt at home. The hardest thing I ever had to do was sit with my dad, an old Aggie from way back when, and ask him for $100 to apply to Baylor. Keep sharing your real lives with us. Evelyn,
thank you.
Evelyn Elliott.
Thank you. I'm glad you can relate to us.
That's a cool
very
name.
Sweet.
That is a cool name. Evelyn Elliott. I just like how that flows.
Evelyn Elliott.
Anybody with EE as initials. That's pretty cool. Wasn't there a poet or an author named E.E. Cummings?
Yep. And wrote in all lowercase letters.
All lowercase letters. E.E. Cummings.
Yep. All right. Well, we have kept you all long enough, and we're going to go.
You can say that again.
Get our doggies, and we're going to love on them for a little bit before we all go to bed. But thank you all for joining us for another podcast. Again, hopefully our could have been tragic story, as long as something positive comes out of it, and I'm going to just rest easy knowing that we've maybe saved some other little animals' lives tonight by sharing this information, which was very important. But Allen, thank you for forgiving me for my horrible mistake. I appreciate it. And thank you all again for being a part of our podcast family and for rooting for us and praying for us when we need it. And we just thank you so much for being here for us.
Yeah, I second that. And I love you desperately.
I love you too.
No matter what, I love you desperately.
No matter what.
And I love Zoey desperately.
Thank the Lord she's still here.
And I love Larry desperately. And I also love all the doctors and technicians at the Emergency Animal Hospital of Collin County desperately. Thanks to them, we will podcast again real soon and probably talk about the dogs.
Thank you to the doctors and the staff. Emergency Animal Hospital. What was it again? All I know is they told me where to go, and I ran.
The Emergency Animal Hospital of Collin County.
Yes, thank y'all.
And in the immortal words of the great Keanu Reeves, life is good when you have a good sandwich.